Spencer. Today we're going to go to the South Caucasus. I want to get caught up with the regional branch of an organization that I used to belong to in the closing days of the Cold War. It was called the Helsinki Citizens Assembly. Although we'll be having a conversation with some old friends, it's been so long since I've been in touch with the political and peace dynamics in that region that I'm not the very best interlocutor. But I have a very dear friend, Jill Carr-Harris, who is in India, and she knows the region very well.
Yes, Gomer Joba, everybody. It's a pleasure to have Arzu, Natalie, Alexander, and Martin with us tonight. And we are delighted to begin with some introductions. Martin, who has really facilitated this meeting, is a historian. He looks at the history of Dutch law, particularly in terms of civil liberties. But why Martin is interested in the Helsinki Citizens Assembly was that he was the liaison officer between 1991 and 2000 on behalf of the Interchurch Peace Committee. And he got very involved in the region, met Arzu, Natalie, and Alexander, and wanted to, again, bring old friends together. And because of Meta's connection as well, we've been able to do that. So let's start with Arzu from Azerbaijan. Arzu Abdulyeva is the Helsinki Citizens Alliance co-chair, has been since 2000. She's also the chair of the National Committee, or has played a very big role on the National Azerbaijan Committee. And she has come from a peace background, was with the Marti particular peace foundation in Azerbaijan, but she was also a deputy chair of the Azerbaijan Social Democratic Party. Arzu was also the winner of a number of awards, but most prestigious of them was the Olaf Palme Peace Prize. Dr. Natalie Martirosyan is basically a physicist, what is a chemical physicist, but somewhere along the line in the 91 to 94 First Karabakh War, she left the university, or at least took on the responsibility of working on peace. She has been the chairman of the National Committee of the Helsinki Alliance, and Alexander Rusetsky. He is an amazing man who has got doctorates in both psychology and political science. How he managed all of that, and he's an author of the theory of metacognitive conflict management, bringing psychology together with conflict resolution. He's at the moment a professor of psychology at the University of Georgia. So these are our four guests, and I'll just introduce myself briefly to you. I'm Jill Carr-Harris of Georgian extraction. You can tell by my nose that it comes from Georgia. It was my grandfather who grew up and left Georgia at the time of the Bolshevik invasion. And Arzu and Natalie were both chairs of the HCA. The difficulties of Nagorno-Karabakh came up, the First War, and of course the Abkhazia-Georgian conflict. So there was forever conflict in those early years as we came out of the Soviet experience. So I'd be very interested in maybe talking first, if that's agreeable to people, a little bit about how important you saw the HCA in its genesis.
Just briefly to talk about the very beginnings. The Helsinki Citizens Assembly, it refers to the Helsinki Agreements. First, the 1975 agreements, East and West, with some space for human rights and also confidence building. And then the new Helsinki Agreements that were made in 1992 for creating a democratic Europe from below, which was also the basis of what's now the OCE, the Organization for Security and Cooperation in Europe. Well, the assembly, the HCA, started as the civil component. So the OCE is governments, and this was a platform for civic initiatives, both in East and West, coming out from the peace movements in the Western Europe, but also from the human rights movements in Eastern Europe. And we had the first, and it was also the start, the first meeting was held in Moscow in 1991. There was a big conference, European Nuclear Disarmament, and a small round table monitored by Mitjan Faber, where activists from the new conflicts came together, exchanging their points of views, and especially that gave them a kind of spark of mutual confidence. And the process here in the South Caucasus started in 1992 in Bratislava, a bigger meeting of the Helsinki Citizens Assembly, where Arzu and Anahit Bayandur met. And well, Anahit Bayandur, that was also the companion of Nata. She died, unfortunately, now already 12 or 13 years ago, 14 years ago. She was like also the spirit of the Helsinki Assembly in the South Caucasus, always looking for dialogue, reconciliation, and stressing the humanitarian aspect. So then started the common actions. First of all, not to talk about politics, but to protect the victims. And that was especially because it was a dirty war from below, the Karabakh War, the mutual hostages taking, trades with prisoners. So to liberate the hostages and the prisoners of war from all sides. And that was a big success in the early years. In the end, hundreds of prisoners, illegal prisoners, hostages were liberated by this cooperation. And that created also a basis for consensus about ceasefire, an open process of steps of peace building. And that has continued during many years, also bringing young journalists together, also to create something like a corridor, what they call the peace corridor, between neighboring towns in Armenia and Azerbaijan, to restore old good neighbor relations, to protect this process also against their own governments, who suspected them of treason. And the South Caucasus, it has been very constant. Still, this process of mutual trust building still continues, still holds.
Now, I need to understand where we are as a movement, as a HA family, because for me, the main pillars for our cooperation was trust, first of all, trust and solidarity. Unfortunately, in modern world, it's not very clear to understand which we mean if we even say peace, which kind of peace we need. It will be negative peace for this moment, or it will be peace as a positive peace, as a phenomena, as a peace, first of all, in your mind, in your heart, and around you. So I think it's a really very important for us for that time. It's once again, it was a huge solidarity movement, and we received this signs of solidarity, signs of, joint values and cooperation, collaboration all over the world, not only from our small region, but also from our friends from, first of all, from Netherlands, from UK, from Germany, from other places. And I want to mention that main focus of HCA activities, HCA family, was not only South Caucasus. Don't forget about the former Yugoslavia, about the Balkans. What a huge war was done. And I think we, as members of this family, also had some part of, had the possibilities to be involved in these processes. I think one of the most interesting events we participate as a HCA family was our assembly in Tuzla. It's multicultural, multi-ethnic place. It was as a school for us, for all of us. It was great event, and we moved to this place with the flags of United Nations. Yeah, so the our influence as a HCA movement was very strong at that time. Unfortunately, once again, now we need to think more about how to deal with this new situation in new, new, I can say, civilization, maybe, yeah, in new, in new era, because we need to don't think more about how to reopen the last, but how to deal with new challenges in new situation, in new era, with, by the way, with new people, with young people. Only one things I want to add this, that Arzu, our friend Arzu, received this Olaf Palme Peace Prize, together with our friends and sister Anahit Bandur. It was a very important, sign, yeah, to all of us, and it was international level event for all of us. But now it's not now modern approach, yeah, to have some people. Just for this moment, I cannot find a person who will be at least nominate for Peace Prize for this situation, because it's a little bit strange, a little bit maybe not very clear, but I think the HCA experience and lessons learned is really very important for all of us.
The conflict started in 1988 and it still continues. And we are in the moment of the proceeding or signing the peace agreement, but there are a lot of obstacles, internal obstacles in our countries, in Armenia, in Azerbaijan, but unfortunately, and in geopolitical obstacles too. But I won't say that about Helsinki Citizens Assembly, that we joined Helsinki Citizens Assembly in 1992. It was really immediately after the collapse of USSR. And we were the citizens of USSR, and we didn't take in mind, absolutely didn't take in mind that the Soviet Union will be collapsed and absolutely new economical formation will going on that we don't know what about, that we left socialism and we didn't understand capitalism yet, and all economical situation destroyed, all cultural relations, all industrial relations. It was really suffer for the people which understood that it is a great moment, but we didn't know what about this moment, what this moment will bring for us, or where we are there. So it was really morally very difficult situation, and all economic destroyed, and people without jobs, industrial destroyed. So it was really bad, and plus during the destroying of USSR, the authority, the KGB, created the conflict for us. We cannot say why. It was because of rule and power method, or it was because the ruling party would like to destroy USSR, to have opportunity to take the all richness of Soviet power, Soviet country. We don't know now, maybe the history will answer, but how they, the KGB and this ruling party, how they created this conflict, what methods, it was in front of our eyes. We saw.
Let me intervene, because you're saying something that I really want to hear more about, Arzu.
Yeah.
I never heard anybody say that the KGB had instigated conflict.
Yes.
I suppose, are you talking about the Nagorno-Karabakh conflict? Or are you talking about, the Armenia and Azerbaijan in general? Can you elaborate on that? Because I think that is really what I'd like to hear people talking about, is the past real conflicts and what went on, and as well as what you have facing now.
Yeah.
So,
Thank you, Mita.
yeah.
Yeah.
Susie?
Yes, I speak about all conflicts in territory of Soviet Union. It is Moldova, Transnistria conflict. It is Armenian, Azerbaijan because of Nagorno-Karabakh, and in Georgia, Abkhazian and Ossetian conflict too. All conflict was ruled from by one scenario from the ruling party of Soviet party by KGB, and we have enough evidences. We had evidences, and we face with in international relationships surrounded that we grow up with this in internationalism, and suddenly it was speculation on nationalism in front of our eyes. It was organizing the pogroms, and in Azerbaijan and in Armenia and in other countries. It starts the war. And when we joined the Helsinki Citizens Assembly, we were not the peace activists for that time. We didn't were the human rights defenders, because the conflict resolution, human rights defending, it was not we didn't know about these definitions, human rights or conflict resolution. We were Soviet people, just grow up in internationalism, and the authority decided for for us decided how we start to live. So that's why we in Helsinki City Assembly, it is really essential organization. It's we met the marvelous people there. I met Anaid Bayandur in Bratislava in 1992 in April, so this month, in 1992. And when
you should say that she was an Armenian, a leader, and an important person in Armenia, while you were an important person in Azerbaijan, and both of you were basically at war.
That we sure that we grow up with Armenians surrounded us. In Armenia there are Azerbaijanis, and in Azerbaijan there are. But in 1992 it was a conflict, and no Armenian around visually, and no Azerbaijani in Armenia. So and we were in conflict, in deep conflict, which started to be the war, as after the collapse of USSR in October 1991, the Soviet power gave us a weapon, and we started the war in 1992. When I met Anaid, my Armenian friend, Anaid.
I'm sorry, when you say the Soviet power gave you the war, in Azerbaijan.
To Azerbaijan and to Armenia and to all republic, because it divided the huge military potential, divided between all 15 republic. But in Azerbaijan and Armenia, they gave plus by money.
I mean, they gave you guns.
They gave money
to kill each other. Okay.
Yeah, because before 1992, it was a conflict. But from 1992, as we got the weapon, what they do, the conflicting party, for sure they started the war. Yeah. And, I came to Bratislava as the person from opposite side to Armenia. That I want, as usually, to say that Azerbaijan is not guilty, and so it is the occupation of our land, etc. But when I meet my friends, the Mary Calder, Mintian Faber, a lot of other interesting, Murat Belge, and who is from Turkey, Mintian Faber from Dutch, Martin van Harten, I met him first there, and Anaid Bayandur, Sasha, it was absolutely another atmosphere, absolutely another people with absolutely other expectations and expectation from me, and I immediately believed to them, love them, and I immediately believed to Anaid. Yeah, it was absolutely marvelous person. She passed away, unfortunately, for not Sasha, Martin, me. For us, it is very painful issue that she died. And we promised to each other that we will do all our best to explain to our people that not people are enemies, but somebody, some forces behind of us. And we start this activity with help and a lot of interesting, we inventing a lot of interesting the models, for example, Detente from Below. Nata, yes, its name Detente from Below, yeah, it was the name.
Yes, it is in French. Yeah.
The time from below means answer that we have to work with on background with from the grassroots people and express this with all auditoria and from stakeholders some level, and we start this our work. We start because it was a war, and we promised, and we start from the. Prisoners of war and hostages. Unfortunately, Karen Ohanjanyan is not now with as a peace activist, but he made all his best for releasing hostage and prisoners of war. Sasha helped very much in this issue. Martin, he has a project, Tulips project, reflected our work in hostages, releasing of hostages, prisoners of war. It was really very useful, very safe people work, and by this work we can help 500 people to release from the hostages and prisoners of war. And with NATO, we first time we met with our to organize a meeting of our young people, in the place between Armenia and Azerbaijan, Kazakh from Azerbaijan and Ijivan from Armenia. And you don't believe that how we go to each other. It was through mines, mining, я правильно говорю? Landmines, between landmines and the soldiers who went forward. They said that to Armenia and to Azerbaijan, no one step left or right, because there is the landmines, so be only one. And we brought 40 young people to meet each others in Ijivan and in Kazakh. And
sorry, Arzu, it was an interesting meeting because the women from Azerbaijan met with women from Armenia in Armenia territory, with Anahit and others, and me with young people moved to the Kazakh. So it was some kind of guarantees for both groups. It was very good, impact. We have a very good media coverage, just in our countries. And by the way, it was the 40 days from the ceasefire regime. So it was in the June 24th. And peace and ceasefire agreement was signed on the 40th of May. So I think it was, I think at that time it was a really goodwill, not only from peace activists, but also from the people in
authorities. Authorities.
Absolutely, because it was impossible to organize if you don't have permission for this kind of.
For sure. How we meet each other.
Good evening, dear friends. My old friends, and also Mrs. Meta Spencer. This is our first meet. I think thank you for the invitation for organizations. It's a very interesting format. I think it is a format of cross cooperation between other group who work in peace, and now we have a very serious problem of escalation, international conflicts on the geopolitical levels. But also parallel, we have a very serious problem of crisis in international peace movement. Really, we have not international peace movement today. We have only small archipelagos, small organization in other country, in other situation. And we have not one international conception. We have not one international vision, what we must doing together. And its process not start today. Its process has very problematic. It was very many years. I think 25, 30 years we have really negative tendency of destructive tendency for blockade international peace initiatives. Why I think we must thinking together, we must create it our evaluation together evaluation document its problem, and if we cannot together create a new process, new way on the international level, I think small local initiatives this cannot absolute cannot change situation. Yes, we can small reaction on the other small problems, but if we have not strong umbrellas on the international levels, I think we cannot realization elementary. It's absolute utopical system, and I think we must revision our activities and must be critical, also opinion analysis, critical opinion why we have this crisis. We have really crisis in Helsinki Citizens Assembly also. We have not now a really strong organization. We have small groups and we must problem of development, its groups, etc., etc. But it is not pessimistical. It is a realistical picture, I say, and together we must thinking also what we must doing on the other level. First level, this is global level, I say. Second level, it is transcontinental European level. We have now very serious problem in European society. And this dimension, absolute not understanding for elementary other speakers, other experts, and it is not in our discourse what we're doing in European society, not continental. I said transcontinental European society. It is the new dimension, new problem, and we must speaking together. Other dimensions. This is Black for our groups. That is Black Sea Caspian region. This very difficult region. In this region we have very many geopolitical actors, and every geopolitical actors, it KGB, Mossad, or IC, or other intelligence service has their concrete interests. And not only political policy, but also economical big actors, global economical, geoeconomical actors has interests, concrete interests, and its problems has very many dimensions. It's very difficult conflicts. And we also must change our technology of our work. I think very serious problem today, and you know, it is a Ukrainian crisis, Ukrainian conflict. Now, parallel, today I was contact with my Ukrainian work, our organization, very activity work on the Ukrainian line. And
what is your organization? And I love what you're saying, by the way. I really want to connect with what you're saying. But what organization is it that you're dealing with the Ukrainian problem?
In Ukrainian, we work in other dimension. We work together with human rights organization, but general our partner now, it is university society. It is professors, Zaporozhye National University, and other refugee universities also. It is very interesting topic also. If we every time say refugees, IDP, etc., and only people context, but not organization context. In Ukrainian now they have 32 university, only refugee university. In Georgia we also have refugee university, Sukhum University and Schival University, but In Ukrainian, it is very catastrophic situation. But not only university refugee, but also
Hold on. Wait a minute. In Ukraine, there are 32 universities. Is that,
yes,
and what about these are refugee universities? These are refugees, did you say?
yes, refugees. Example, Donetsk University work in Vinica. It's collective organization, refugee. Donetsk, it is not Miss Meta new problem. Example, Wrocław University. It is Lvov University. It first refugee university was in French history in the 16th century. Paris University also was refugee university. Now this Paris University in Poitiers work together, and it is really university, but they has its
Yeah,
history.
wait a minute. This is fascinating. You have, what do you do? The university faculty have emigrated to this other country, or they're being supported by another university in another country. How does this work? Because this is new to me. That sounds wonderful.
Yes, but we have Belarusian example where the Belarusian university go to and work in Litva territory. Is one university. It is refugee university, but this university not go to other country. They go to other territories, their country, in Ukrainian territory. If they work last time in Donetsk, but Donetsk now it's a territory occupation, Russian Federation. But this university, divided university, and one part university work in Donetsk, and now this is a subsystem of Russian educational system, high level educational system. But second other part, this university, divided university, work in Vinica, but they not change brand. It is Donetsk University, but work in Vinica. And example, Krim University.
Sasha, let's get back to just the Caucasus, because what I think with the Ukraine struggle is with Russia preoccupied, doesn't, in terms of the situation of the peace agreement that is starting to form. So let's look at a positive thing or a strategic thing that is going on right now, which is a draft peace agreement has been made between Azerbaijan and Armenia, right? Now, as civil society, as universities who are connecting around this, or the HCA, maybe weaker, but still all the other civil society groups, how are they supporting this draft peace agreement? You know, because it seems to me that is going to be beneficial, isn't it, for peace in the region, to have this agreement. It's being pushed by, Turkey is encouraging Armenia to also have this peace agreement so there can be greater regional trade. Armenia is isolated. So it just seems to me that rather than getting into the broader issues of why Ukraine is in difficulty, I think we could see it also as an opportunity, can't we? As soon as Russia has created a ceasefire, it seems to me the draft peace agreement may not actually ever get, or be very, very unlikely that it will be passed. So we have something on the table, guys, that could bring greater regional cooperation. So as a civil society, how are we responding to it? Do we see it as something that is worthwhile or not? I mean, I think this is a very important issue for the South Caucasus, isn't it, right now?
Well, Jill, we have very serious situation in South Caucasus now. If last time civic society in Georgia, example, it was really strong power who participate in negotiation process on the non-formal level, yes? And also
Yes.
the cooperation with government structures and also international organization, the consultation together, etc., etc. Today, Georgian civil society, absolute polarization. Polarization and
Absolutely.
paralyzation. Yes, and what is it? Now polarization, only small part our civic society work with government structure, official Georgian government structure. Big part Georgian civic society work with opposition. In Georgia now we have not independent sector now who not participate in intra-Georgian political conflict. It is very, very bad for peace processes, not only Georgian local process in Abkhazia and Donetsk Valley, but also for our participate, example, in Caribbean conflict or Ukrainian, etc., etc. Elementary work we can doing, but it is only elementary. If you your question was agreement, question of peace agreement, yes. What is it? Peace agreement. Who is actors? Peace agreement. I think we must look to really picture this conflict, not imitation peace process. It is quasi peace initiative. We must look and see concrete peace, diagnostic concrete picture of conflict. First level, on the global level, it is conflict between, example, Russian Federation and United States. Also, other dimension conflict, European society, and European society also divided, you know. And what agreement, peace agreement, on the what level? I think not we must say peace agreements, we must peace agreements. Many agreements must be, and many work we must be. We must work on the other levels together. Yes, and well, if I cannot work now in Tbilisi in Georgia, yes, please, I can work on the other conflict, and I work in Ukrainian conflict with assistance, development, peace negotiation process, etc. But we must together thinking what is our resources, what we have really, what our power, and after together thinking what we can together doing on the other level, as I mentioned, this global and very difficult system of global conflict.
But it seems to me that I put this to Arzu, Natalie, and you, Sasha, Martin, that it seems to me that HCA was a way of platforming civil society to work on, work in solidarity across borders. Has it been that because of the reducing civil society space in the region, clearly Armenia is a little more lighter on civil society than Azerbaijan, and of course the problems in Georgia are there with civil society. Is it because civil society is weakened and there is less space that civil society has had no role in this peace agreement, or have they? Because it seems to me that there has been interactions across the civil society in South Caucasus for the last, since 94 to 2020, there was a lot of interaction, a lot of exchange, in spite of the difficulties of Nagorno-Karabakh and so on. So I'm just curious as to whether civil society or HCA played a role in this draft peace agreement, because it just seems to me that it's
Jill,
incredible.
I'm aware. I think I've discovered something. Natalia has had her hand raised a long time, but you're not the co-host officially, so you haven't been seeing her. So I'm sorry. I should have said earlier that Natalia is
Natalia, please. Please
Yeah,
come
I'm
in.
sorry.
No, thank you. I have a problem because now it's 8 p.m. So I have another meeting. So I try to say all things I want to share with you.
Mhm.
First of all, Jill, let's be strong in definitions. Yeah, it's not draft peace agreement. Is consolidated, agreed text of this paper. If it's don't sign, it's nothing, unfortunately. The second, my point, unfortunately, the before the signing this agreement, our opposite side, for Armenia opposite side, have a lot of preconditions. And main preconditions, one of this is to change Armenian constitutions, which is a procedure. You can understand that it's impossible to do during 1 or 3 months. At least it will be maybe 8 months or 1 year. So before this, the leadership of Azerbaijan said that we are not ready to sign this agreement. What it's only as a note for your information. Um, another thing I want to mention is just regarding the role of place of cross-border communication, collaboration, coordination, and so on. It's very difficult to organize something even in this kind of format, even in the format of online conversation on Zoom and something like this. Because unfortunately, there are some problems with our colleagues in Azerbaijan, and we don't want to do some steps and to put them under the pressure. So what can we organize cross-border, something cross-border? If we don't can do it without the counterpart in other side. So only Arzu and maybe few other people, which is acceptable for us, and we really have some interesting discussion on experts level and so on. But if we speak about the some kind of movement to support the peace agreement, we don't can find the mechanism how to do this from both sides. Armenian government and people in Armenia are very strong interested to have this kind of paper. By my personal opinion, it's only first step. Because if you have at least something signed, it will be some kind of very small, very big, but anyway, some kind of guarantees, and to move forward, to discuss and to have the more of this decision on the other questions. But if you have some limitation in time, if you have some preconditions and another precondition, and the second precondition, it's not my personal opinion. It comes from the leadership from Azerbaijan that Armenia and Azerbaijan need to apply to OSCE to ask to I don't know, retire the Minsk groups. It's okay. Armenian premier minister said that we can cite the same appeal to the OSCE because the Minsk group was not open by Armenia or Azerbaijan. It's structure of OSCE, it's responsibility of OSCE. So I think there are some maybe details, but I don't want to.
Can you back up a little bit? Now, OSCE, I don't even know what role OSCE is playing in this conflict.
Yes.
We're saying that there's a group that you've been excluded from, or what's the problem there with the OSCE process?
Yeah, so OSCE decided years ago to create the Minsk group for facilitation or for moderation the peace processes and conflict resolution processes between Armenia and Azerbaijan and Nagorno-Karabakh at that time. for coordination of this work, there are many of countries involved. For example, Finland, Turkey, and others. But it was some mechanism. They have three co-chairs, which was one was representative of France, another one was representative of the United States, and the third one was representative from Russian Federation. They organized this process. They moderated this discussion during very long period of time. Now, the main argument from Azerbaijani side, which is more or less, agreed with Armenian side, that now we don't have any kind of problem regarding the Nagorno-Karabakh, and this group was created, this mechanism, OSCE mechanism, was created to moderate these negotiations around Nagorno-Karabakh. Now we don't have this Nagorno-Karabakh, so we don't need to have this kind of structure. So
sorry, Azerbaijan takes a position there should be no such organization, and you're disagreeing. Am I right?
Armenian part said that's okay. We can sign this joint appeal to OSCE and ask them to destroy it or finish the function of this Minsk group. OSCE Minsk group. It's because the problem was the main motivation to create this group was negotiations around Nagorno-Karabakh. Now we don't have this kind of problem between us. No Nagorno-Karabakh, no problem. So Minsk group has no function, has no things to do. Yeah, for this
time. Do you agree?
Can I add?
Do you agree?
No. Armenian part said that's okay. Let's sign the peace deal, and then maybe in the same day or 2 hours later, we can sign the joint appeal to OSCE and ask them to do some formal steps, regarding this OSCE Minsk group, because it's procedure. It's not decision from Armenia, no decision from Azerbaijan. It will be agreed just with the official persons from OSCE. And as I know, the mechanism is that it will be put on the agenda of the meeting of general representative or something like this.
Okay, now hold on. I just want to make sure. You want or don't you want them to cancel that process? Do you want it to continue? Do you want it to take a new form? Do you think it really is necessary?
No,
I think
it's not our problem.
Do you all agree that it's no longer necessary and should be abolished?
So
our authorities agree. Our authorities, but not the all layers of the societies. Yeah. Because there are different approaches and different troubles regarding this. But our people on top said that they agreed to sign this paper after the signing this peace deal. But the main problem is to change constitutions, because it's impossible to change without referendum. And to prepare the new constitution, it's not, I'll say, okay, it's another text. And another problem is they are not sure that will be positive answer to this. So it's not very easy to organize.
Natalie, can I just clearly sum up what I heard you say?
Yes.
Because very, very important. One, you said the textual agreement is a bilateral agreement by Azerbaijan, Armenia.
Yes.
Are Azerbaijan still, after the initial draft agreement, has put new conditionalities on the agreement?
Yes.
And those two relate, or some conditionalities on the agreement?
Jill,
no?
It will be not a points, will be included in peace deal. It's precondition to sign the agreed text.
the agreed
yeah,
text.
yeah.
So
Okay.
that those objections or conditionalities is related to the fact that in the declaration upon which the Armenian constitution is based has some reference to Nagorno-Karabakh being part of their territory. And so the Azeris, the Azeri government, is a bit nervous about signing because they're very protective about their territorial integrity. Would that be what you're saying? And the second, is that the first level? Would you agree?
Jill, no, I'm not agree because first of all, a constitutional court of our country investigate the text and said that it will be not if we sign this peace deal, it will be more high level that national legislation. So international responsibility, we need to implement without any kind of the national legislation norm, first of all. Another point, the same question Armenian part can ask from Azerbaijani constitutions, because Azerbaijani Republic, it's the what is правопреемник. I don't remember what it will be in English. Some heritage as a heritage from the first Azerbaijani Republic, with another points about the territory of Azerbaijan, about their borders and so on. But we don't say about this. It's not some kind of precondition or asking or requirement from Armenian side. But I mentioned this constitutional, reform only to show you and all of us that this process, it's not for 1 or 3 or 6 months. It will be a long process. And if we have very long process, nobody can give us any kind of guarantees about maybe local escalation, about the situation around the South Caucasus. So my opinion, that as a civil society, representative of civil society, to sign this agreement as soon as possible without any preconditions. It's very important to have something just in your hands and then to move forward. We have another problem. Yes, just for this moment. But we cannot advocate for this. We cannot move forward on this way without partners in Azerbaijan. And there are 2 points. To sign this peace deal as soon as possible, and to have, which is just include some guarantees to not move on forced way, to decrease the level of possible escalation and so on. And unfortunately, international actors are not very interested, are not very included in this. And a lot of people all said, "Oh, congratulations, it's very good idea. You have," and some of them say, even people in top, you have now peace agreement. No, we don't have peace agreement. We will have peace agreement if we'll have signature of first phases of our countries.
This problem never stop us, never stop that what we are doing for the peace, for human rights, for democracy. We continue. Even it is very difficult, but we continue and we never stop and we will never stop. And I would like to share and my opinion and about peace agreement. We recently established a think tank By suggestion of Martin, we call it Peace Agora of trusted think tanks. Why trusted think tanks? Because there are and civil activists there, and scientists and experts, and from local places, and from Armenia, from Georgia, from Azerbaijan, from international organizations and community of think tanks and peace activists. It is kind of combine the efforts of think tanks and peace activists. International peace activists and think tanks and local. It was attempt, and we organized several meetings with International Helsinki Citizens Assembly, with Mary Calder, who always supported and support our efforts, our works, thanks to her. She is a really marvelous person. And Bernard, our chair of Helsinki City Assembly. By the way, I am not now the co-chair of Helsinki City Assembly. I retired in 2000. I don't remember, 2009 maybe. But Bernard still the co-chair, and he is doing all his best too. So we organized some meetings to discuss what we can do together. I think that we have the future of this organization. It is we have opportunity to be listened and heard by international stakeholders and internal stakeholders. Within the group, we have think tanks, but some people who are close to authorities, because it is our opinion that we need to think and to listen everybody who is dealing with the peace, dealing with the conflict resolution. Nagorno-Karabakh issue decided by the war. But only what I have to say that because based on the fairness, to be the justice person, that when we heard about the ethnic cleaning, I can say that it was not cleaning, it was ethnic cleaning. Unfortunately, these people should go from Nagorno-Karabakh, and really for us, for me, it is unfortunately. We try to stop it, we try to solve the issue by the peace way, but we could not.
Are you saying they were forced to leave, or they sort of left voluntarily because the prospects look so bad?
Yes, second one. Yes, they voluntarily left. They were not forced, but they didn't believe to the future. And I think that our authority didn't do everything to prove that they will live without any problems in Nagorno-Karabakh.
Would you still call that ethnic cleansing?
I don't think that it was ethnic cleansing. I'm sure that it was not, because we took this under the control, under the great control, that no one can say that you should go. Some people stay in Armenians stay in Nagorno-Karabakh, but they very old people. They didn't want to change their places. It is big. Unhappiness, it's really tragedy that people lose their motherland. Yeah, it was great, really great tragedy. And as it was tragedy 30 years ago when our refugees, our IDPs should left the Nagorno-Karabakh too, but they now repatriated and they come back. And this issue that Armenian and Azerbaijani should live together or next to each other, this issue was not solved, was not elaborated enough to say that this is algorithm of how you have to live. Now we work and on peace agreement, how it was. We try to influence. As I said, that we have Peace Agora and we have so-called Karabakh Council with experts, Azerbaijani experts. We're planning. We decided discuss all issues and transportation, communication, transport communication. There is north south project, middle project, middle corridor, or Megri corridor, or crossroad transportation corridor. So we discuss everything, and it was decision among our experts to discuss this with our Armenian colleagues. We shared with Natalia and our friend Boris Novosartian that we can do this maybe in 10 days, maybe in 2 weeks, when they said, because we discussed it already, and we are ready to discuss this with Armenians. I understand maybe our authorities about their concerns that today Nikol Pashinyan is a leader of Armenia, and maybe he takes the responsibility to about peace agreement, to sign the peace agreement. But if there is anything written in Armenian constitution, in declaration that Nagorno-Karabakh belong to Armenia, and even there is written that any from the any leader, political leader, could change. Anyway, today even we agree on signing. Yeah, we agree, but from another side, we need the guarantee to.
We also don't have any kind of guarantees. Why do you speak
Yes.
only guarantees from Armenian side? But you don't think that now we also need some guarantees?
Can't civil society work on trust building?
Some of our colleagues are working together on, for example, water resources management, for climate change, or something like this. So try to find some points which is important for both sides and not very politicized. I understand everything is political issue, but anyway, to try maybe.
Let's turn to Sasha for a minute to see what is the potential role, Sasha, of some mediation from the Georgian side.
If we want create a serious document, other society also must participate in its process. And this format of negotiation must be transformation, and we must put new innovation in this format. What I would say you, first, I think if last time, general victim group in Karabakhian conflict was Azerbaijani refugees, now situation absolute change, and now we have Armenian refugees. Yes. But Armenian refugees or Azerbaijani refugees, Karabakhian society, it is also divided society. And I think on this negotiation and process must participate two part of Karabakhian society, divided Karabakhian society. It is general level. For democratization, this process. Second level, it is Yerevan and Baku Central Group. And third level, it is regional actors.
Yeah.
It's Turkish, Iranian, Russian regional actors, and next level international actors. It is European Union and United States. Yes, I think we must open the door for negotiation for other groups, local, regional, and international.
The final words is we need to work more on confidence building, trust building, including exclude totally hate speeches.
So thank you, everybody, and see you again.